Well, I mean, Arkansas State, we never had an answer for them. I mean, they shot, I think they made 18 threes, so it made it very difficult to guard. And just the style they played, the funny thing was a lot of times they had layups and they would rather, kick it out and shoot the three. And I thought that was kind of odd, but yeah, they got a really good team. And, their defense pressing like that made it really, really tough. And then I didn't find we played very well. On Saturday, we just didn't. I found we didn't take care of the ball, and we didn't do as some of the things that we could have done to you know, to get a win. But it was a tough week, and then we're going to Georgia State. It's my scout, so I've been working on it all weekend, and they heavy in guards. Henderson's really good, but they're all small guards. They're all combo guards. They can pretty much shoot it. They're trying to do some of the things that like Arkansas State and Marshall are doing. It's just maybe not as consistent at it. But, yeah, and they're not very big. Their biggest player that's playing is 6 foot. So it's going to be a good matchup, I think, First time we play them in a while. So, yeah.
Do you have a pretty good, because I haven't looked close enough, a pretty good idea if you might be playing who or who?
It looks like to me Georgia State or App State.
So you could be playing Georgia State twice.
Twice, yeah, we could. We could play them twice, yeah, back to back.
So this could be an interesting game then.
Yeah, it could be. It really is. It really is an interesting game. And last time we played App State, Amani didn't play. Daniels was out because of injury, so it could be different. I didn't find we played very well, but yeah, I mean, to me it looks like it'll be one of those two teams.
So what's the matchup with Georgia State?
Man, that's what I'm trying to really figure out is the fact that you watch them play. We can watch clips of offenses and stuff, and they look pretty good. Then you go watch the game itself, and it kind of gets different. It's not as consistent and stuff. So, but I really think they really have some good players. They got some kids that can shoot the ball, and I'm talking about shooting threes and stuff. And maybe it's just the inconsistency comes from being a little bit smaller. When they penetrate, sometimes they'll miss layups, kind of like what we do, and they're not as consistent with that. And defensively, they're trying to press all over the place and stuff and try to make it chaotic. They just not, to me, they're just not as effective. But against us, maybe it will be.
Historically, you like playing under those smaller guards. Like I remember Izzy a couple years ago. You guys had a good plan for it.
Yeah.
I know this year's defensively, it's been, trying to adjust. Do you still think you can match up and have an advantage against this?
Yeah, if you really notice us, and I complain a lot about our defense, but our defense on the perimeter out with what we call tinning and trapping and switching and all that is pretty good. It's the help side that we're struggling with. So, yeah, against small guards, I'd rather do that, and able to. I think we'll be able to. I mean, that's a great point too. I think we'll be able to guard them a lot better. You still, though, they still going at the rim though, so you still got to have some help and you got to be able to box out and rebound and keep them in one shot.
If they're going to pressure, how about finishing on the break? That's going to be important.
Yeah, that's important. It's like anything else. You work on it, and then you get in the game and. They make it kind of tough because it's more of a rush. I think we, as a team, we play way too fast on the offensive side. We try to slow them down. We really want to push the ball, but we want to do it under control, and sometimes we just get so fast and stuff. And that's from being inexperienced a little bit, I think. But I think we're getting better at, breaking press and looking to score. Yeah, it's just finishing, finishing those layups and free throws, like you say, huh?
What's the message for your team heading into this final regular season game as far as trying to build some momentum heading into the tournament?
Just watching film and showing them how we need to get better at this and this and this. And, we're continuing to try to get better, I think that's the biggest part for us is can we continue to get better on boxing out and keeping them to one shot, or can we get better at helping? I haven't given up on charges neither. I mean, Mamani had 5 last game by herself, or we just give me 2 more people, our defense would be so much better, So it's, it's the same message, We want to get better. We want to win, I mean, everybody wants to win, but, we got to do some things together. So I guess that's maybe the biggest message is we got to play this thing together. I heard some people, somebody on the radio today say that you keep on learning as the season starts, but you're still learning as the season ends too. And I think that's where we're maybe some slow learners, but we're getting better, and continue to get better. And that's our thing, thanks to Matt, he's so positive about what's going on. I wish it would be everything he says, but it's all good.
You've got 5 days before you play a game, and then after that, you've got 3 days before you play a game. Will that help you going into the tournament where you could conceivably play, 22 hours later and then 22 hours later?
Yeah, I mean, I think it can, but like according to Kevin, if you have too much time off, it's not good, So it's hard to figure out, man. I know for us, limited amount of players, I think rest is good for us because we took off Sunday. All we're doing is lifting weights and watching film today, and then we're gonna get back started on preparing for Georgia State. But yeah, I don't know, man. Especially a team like us, we're still trying to figure out what we're doing on the Thursday and Saturdays. What are we gonna do with this break, And hopefully we come out and we play really well.
As a coach, potentially playing Georgia State twice within that window, does that make it a little easier as far as, going through that?
I think for us, I think when you're on a time crunch, yes, but everybody's got their own scouts. And so, I mean, it's going to be real easy. I mean, I got this scout and I've been working on it. I'm pretty much done with it. We'll start watching film and stuff. So I don't know. I think it's easier. I think it would be easier. I'll tell you that after the game on Tuesday, if it was easier.
But not only though, the rest is going to help with the stamina, but you're also looking at shooting at 2 goals you hadn't shot at all year long in Pensacola and in Atlanta, and then being, maybe not as in rhythm with the rest. So that's the balance.
Yeah, we're trying to get out there Sunday so we can get in the gym on Monday over there, to get in the practice. We're going to utilize our practice times on the Monday so we can try to get some shots up and get used to it. And then, you have an inexperienced team. You don't know how they're going to react to, one and done. If you don't win, you're done. And sometimes they put pressure on you more than, and for me, it's not, but for the players, it may, especially the freshmen. We rely on the freshmen a lot to do some things. They're starting to come around and being a little bit more consistent on the offensive side. And then Amani's always been good on the defensive side.
Yeah, the tournament's set up too, and we've talked about it. The idea that you could conceivably play 7 games in 7 days is rather ridiculous anyway. But does it for y'all make it even easier where you get to Pensacola, you're not looking at the big, hey, we're not talking about the championship, this or that. We're playing the game today, and if we play today, if we win, we'll worry about tomorrow. Is that going to be easier, you think?
Yeah, I think so too. And it's like you're still trying to get better. It's a great point that you're saying is like, as a coach, that's what I look at it right now is, man, one possession at a time, and can we get better as we go, even though it could be the last game. But, sometimes my teams in the past, when we first got here in 2011, 12, 13, they played so much better with their backs against the wall. I could never figure it out. We would not start good, and then all of a sudden, I remember in a WBI in 15, we were down to Oral Roberts by 20 at one time, and people were starting to leave. And then at halftime, we had cut it to 12, and I was like, man, this is what we want. Hey, this is where we are in perfect position. This is the adjustments we're going to make, and they did because their backs were against the wall. So, I kind of like it in a way. It's like, hey, we're coming out, it's one and done. If you don't, if you win, you advance, and that's the good thing about March. It'll be the beginning of March Madness starts. So, hey, somebody's got to win. Why not us?